Welcome to episode 37 of Songs for the Struggling Artist, the blogcast. Thank you for listening and downloading and generally being awesome. I know of 2 more people listening to the podcast now. It's so great to know. I know there's not, that means I know for a fact that 3 people listen to this podcast. So to you, lovely 3 people, thank you very much for listening. I know there are others as well, but I only know about 3. So it makes a huge difference, like to know kind of who I'm talking to. So hi, everyone, and especially you lovely people who have let me know that you're listening. Nice to talk to you today. So I have for you a blog that I wrote last summer, and I didn't post it on the blog itself until a few weeks ago. I was sort of waiting to post it until I was done with the show that I was working on, because it just didn't. It's sort of about the process of making the show, and I didn't want the actors that I was working with to feel weird about it, or it just didn't seem like the right timing to bring it to the fore. So I was going to save it until I was done with the show, but the show was in November. So because it was November, suddenly I just was like, I can't. This post has got nothing to do with anything that's going on in the world right now. I mean, it sort of does. Everything does, I suppose. But yeah, it sort of felt like it took some time for it to feel like it was even at all like something I even wanted to think about for a second. So yeah, anyway, so this is about making art again, for a change. Rather than the horrors of the current political moment, it's about the difficulties of technology in a rehearsal process and in art making. That challenge has not gone away, I'm sure. It's not a particularly, it's not one that I'm particularly like. It's not hot for me right now, this issue, but it's not going to go away. I mean, we have these little computers in our pockets everywhere we go, and they change our lives in some really, really, really great ways, and also in some really not great ways. So this is a little bit about the not great ways, or a not great way, one not great way that having so much technology impacts the process of making things. So I'm going to read it to you. It is called Devices in Auditions and Rehearsals. My company's auditions for our project were meticulously planned. I did a group audition because I care about how people work together. I started with drawing because it's a script-flipping task that tends to calm jumpy actors down, and it tends to signal that we're doing things differently. I did a bunch of low-exposure group acting explorations to get a comfort level going in a room full of strangers, and then I had them play with materials to take everyone out of the context of performance and into creating. Then I took a break, a long one, because I wanted the group to have some time to chat and get to know one another without someone controlling their experience. It's useful for me to see people with their masks off for a minute while they talk about their cat or whatever. As in rehearsals, a lot of the art actually happens in these cross-pollinating moments. But in my recent auditions, this whole plan went completely off the rails at this point, because rather than chatting and getting to know one another, almost every single actor took out their cell phone and sat against a wall. The room was silent. I was shocked and scared for the future. Technology has changed all of our lives in so many profound ways, but until this moment, I hadn't noticed it intruding on my art-making experience too much. I think this is because in smaller groups, it is less obvious, this disconnection. When I work with one or two other people, when someone steps away to take a call or write a text, it's an event. Someone says, "Excuse me, I need to check on my son," or something like that. And when they return, there hasn't been a major break in our momentum. When everyone's first impulse at a break is to unplug from the group and plug into Facebook or emails or whatever, the entire momentum of a process shifts. Theater making is delicate. When I make something, I work very hard to create an experience that takes people out of the everyday and into the world of the play. I want my shows to have this quality, and I want my rehearsals to have it as well. Every intrusion from the outside world is a disruption. At our break, one actor checks Facebook and sees that an ex is getting married. Another gets an email about an audition next week that makes him nervous, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. Everyone's mind is somewhere else, and it takes effort to bring them back. This isn't a judgment on my actors. I fully understand why in an awkward moment surrounded by strangers, everyone reaches for a phone. It is almost automatic, and I suppose it is that automatism that concerns me. Back when I was an auditioning actor, no one had a cell phone to turn to in a break, and so we turned, however awkwardly, to one another. I made some lifelong friends this way. And those relationships led to making more art, which led me here, to auditioning new performers and their phones. It's like everyone's a package deal now, the actor and everyone they've ever known to whom they are connected via the internet. I am curious about how others handle this landscape. How do you negotiate the phones in your art-making midst? There you have devices in auditions and rehearsals. I feel there's probably a better title for this post, but I don't know what it is. I don't have the answers on this point. I found some kind of like, there's no real good way to address it, because if you like get into a process and you're like, nobody check your phone, then like the entire like pleasant vibe of a rehearsal is just totally ruined. Like you can't mandate any kind of thing around it. It's super complex. The only thing I have figured out to do to like keep that, I mean, in auditions, I don't think there's anything to be done necessarily. Although maybe it will. Anyway, my idea for rehearsals actually might work in auditions as well, but it does require bringing food. I find that if I have food for people, they hang around and stay with the group and stay kind of hooked into each other. I don't need them to be hooked into me at all. Like, this is not about relating to me. It's like, in order to create like relationships between people that are become productive in an artistic experience, it's helpful for them to have a rapport that is separate or at least adjacent to the work in question. So anyway, that's the only thing I've been able to figure out, is how to sort of delicately shift that break moment, is to keep something, just to like have some food around, and then people gather by the food, and then they chat, and yeah, they look at their phones too, but it's not like they're not like lost in phone land. Anyway, these are the questions. So I'd love to hear if you actually have ways that you have figured out how to minimize the impact of tech in your artistic process. Let me know, because I genuinely would like to know. So a song for you. I've been trying to figure out what to put here, and what I'm gonna do. I made this song on my laptop, so because this is an entry about tech and devices, I made this song on my laptop, kind of when I first got GarageBand, and I used it with the like dinkiest sounds. I think, GarageBand has become much, much, much more sophisticated in the intervening years, but you're going to hear some dinky-ass music that I wrote this silly song with around to. It is called Laptop. It is. I wrote it a while ago, so this was, the first iteration of GarageBand for me. So this was probably 2006. Oh my God, this song is 11 years old. Anyway, here it is. This is Laptop. The way you ran your hand along my laptop, baby, the way you turned it on, from how you smoothly opened up my laptop, baby, I know it won't be long till the palm of your hand is somewhere you understand, like the farmer who knows every inch of his land, or the master conductor understands the band. I know that you won't get me wrong. The way you brushed your finger on my trackpad, baby, you know it made me blush. The shh rhythm on my trackpad, baby, magnified my crush. You had the tip of your finger just where it should linger, like the line of a melody touches the singer, or the ribbon of finish line beckons the winner. You know that there's no need to rush. I never knew that lending you my Mac would palpitate my heart at any time. I'll give you what's mine, and I'll have more than what I started with. The way you gazed intently at my blue screen, baby, was how I gazed at you. Your smile reflected in my blue screen, baby, like looking at a view. You had your eyes open wide like you've got something inside, like there are acres of open land with nothing to hide, as if you were rainfall when the river has dried. I would like to download you. I would like to download